Okay, I'm gonna start on some plastic pieces. Like I told a guy yesterday, actually he left me a message. I'm gonna pick my best nose and we'll go from there. These are probably my better rear bumpers. They're straighter, but they're not ripped out, but the brackets that hold them on are crapped out. I'm gonna cut those off, and all I'm gonna do is cut through the bolt. I love these little 3-inch, 3.5-inch cutoff blades. I get those at Harbor Freight for 75 cents a piece. You buy them a bunch of them, and they work great for this tight stuff. And that's all I'm gonna do. I've got good brackets that probably just need cleaned up. And if I can get those out and they'll work fine, then I'm good. Otherwise, I've made them before. You just hop in a little 3-in-1 brake like this, bend up some metal, and weld some studs on it. Works fine. So I don't even know if you can buy that stuff anywhere. I found a actually good honeycomb where everything is straight and not warped. So I've got one of those, and I'm still not sure on the noses, but I'm also going to try to do, I'm just going to go ahead and do plastic repair on these pieces because they're very straight, but that was it. And then on this piece here, it was just that. So I've got some flexible repair, bumper repair. We'll see how that works. I've used just good aircraft repair in the past, aircraft epoxy. I had found some, I find it online, and this is the absolute best stuff, better than JB Weld or anything I've ever found. It's this. All right. And not the cheapest stuff in the world, but it hardens. You can do anything you want to it. You can tap it, and this stuff works great. It sticks to damn near anything. So that's what I've used for all my repairs and stuff. Anyway, I'm gonna get to cutting. I'm just gonna cut those off. We'll see how some pieces fit, and we'll get back. Okay, these are the brackets. Just bend these little tabs up. They're up in here. Bend them up. They may break, so you may have to do a little weld back on there or something. Once they're in place, they're not going anywhere. They're just, the tabs are there just to hold them, because once it sucks up to the car, you're fine. So these will just get sandblasted. There was one that was broke, but if you run off, you just drill that out. Basically, you can put a bolt behind there, just tack it in place, and good. Or you can cut your own. I've made my own brackets before. So these are cleaned up. I took everything out. I left a stud in there. So that one's ready. This was the kind of crappier one. I took parts off of it, and that's it. Moving next. Okay, got those done. This is an original little bumper hold-on that goes in the bottom of the bumpers and the top of the bumpers right there, and they snap into the hard metal, and they're also used on the bottom of there. I think the originals, some of them were kind of clear orange, but I found these, and this is what I've been using. They're the push pin type, and there's the number. It's an amp a piece. I mean, they look damn near the same. If I could find, I think that's the same thing right there, 13 cents, yeah. Got a couple of those. Somebody may have started repopping those. I haven't looked in a while because I probably on eBay, I bought like 4 or 5 bags of those and had plenty for the last couple of cars I've done. So if there's something else out there that does that, post it. put it in the comments, and that'll help everybody out. But for now, that's what I've been using. Okay, back to, so like I said, I got I picked out the best one, and I've got two that are straight enough I'd use on any car. Now I'm going to pick the nose again, and it's still cool out here. So if I just see a little bit of wave, like you can kind of tell that one, once you put it on and put the support behind it, the eggshell or the foam, it straightens out. And just setting it in front of the heat would probably do that too. I'm probably not going to use this one just because I'm not sure of it. This was the one that was made in the USA by the Colonel. Like I say, it's thick, it's stiff. It would probably be freaking great if it fits, but I don't have a car here that I can fit it on. So I'm probably just going to pick my two best ones and then go with that. I'm probably going to prep two of them just in case something happens. But that's it. Moving on to picking the nose. And I'm just looking to make sure that all this is there. And I want to stay away from any that have bad cracking in them. That crack, unless you go in there and V them out and really sand them hard, it'll come back. But I've kept all these front ends because they were very clean. And some of these I didn't even, like this white one, I picked it up at Camaro Parts World up near Cleveland. They had it sitting there. It was $100. It was in great shape. I think I might have bought it with two other things. I don't think I paid $100 for it because I've thrown away more of those over the years. Should have kept them all. Anyway, back to it. Actually, while I was thinking about it, someone had asked me about the rotisserie. This one, I built it because when these things came out, they were like $2,000, and that was 10 years ago. I had a lot of money. So I had the metal, I can weld, so I just built my own. It's not the fancy, you can jack it up from the ground or do whatever, but the best tool I ever bought was that little mid-rise lift right there. Runs off a starter motor, it's hydraulic, it'll lift up like 44 inches or something. And if you can see that if I lift that under the body, I can walk all the way around the body, do my body work, don't have to touch anything. And then when I built the rotisserie, I just lift the car up with that. And while that's under, I pull the front subframe, I pull the rear end, then I've got just the body sitting there. And you can tell how it doesn't interfere with anything. So I just made the little mounts, I mount it to it, and when I drop the mid-rise lift out of the way, then she's there. Nice thing about, like I said, the nice thing about this is you can flip it sideways, paint. I cleaned it up real good, and I use it in a paint booth because I don't have to get up high and reach anything. But you can find plans for these anywhere. I had to do, like I said, I did this one when they first came out. Had to do a little experimenting and changing some things around. But just to show you how easy I got my little cheater bar up here, but how easy it does move, you can just rotate it. Yep, just like a chicken on a rotisserie. And I kind of made this all adjustable when I was doing it because I wasn't sure, but I mean, that way I can do it for other cars that are top heavy or whatever, but that works just fine. And then when I rotate it around, I've actually got a couple bolts. You know, I'll just tighten these down and then that'll hold it completely sideways. And I put one at the back that I just dropped this pin in here. I've got a hole drilled on the inside and the pin sets up, but when it gets around to 90 degrees and sets up, the pin will just drop in the hole, and that keeps it, I hardly ever use that because I'm always at the front. And the one thing I did have to do is you can see there's a bar that holds these together right down here. And that would be in the way of the lift. So just to get the car up, I put another one over here on the side. And this one is the only one I use when I'm mounting the car, because that keeps the A-frames from flipping out on you. But once it's bolted to the car, it don't go anywhere. I wasn't even sure I really needed that, but I had the metal, so I did it. And normally I would take that out of the way, but it wasn't in the way, so I just left it. Anyway, that's all that. I've got maybe $250 worth of material in that. And like I say, there's plans all over the internet, but at this point, you can go buy these things. I've seen them for $750, $1,200, and just go ahead and buy one, because you got 3 days welding and cutting and doing everything in this. And like I said, but that mid-rise lift, perfect. I actually bought it from a body shop. They said they never used it, and I'm like, man, that's the best. Saves my back. I don't crawl under a car anymore for anything. And like I say, for pulling the front end, pulling the frames, jack it up, roll the stuff out. You can set the rear end on jack stands and then raise and lower the car to wherever things fit. It just makes life easy. Like I say, they're cheap enough. Okay, just thinking of that when I walked by it. Some guy was asking about some other tips and tools I use, so I'll try to touch on some of those as I go.